Welcome to How to Write with Mr. Reynolds. Today we are talking about the color poetry form, and we're thinking about expressing in colorful, vivid, vibrant words what each color might represent or mean. And so in a color poetry, it might be that a color brings to mind some event or some item or some emotion. It might be that you're able to picture a color in a certain way, or by thinking about a color, it causes you to think about something else in a creative way. For example, as I was growing up, I remember we had these at VBS all the time or at church, and they were called the Wordless Book, and each color meant something in the story of Jesus. And so the idea of being created in the image of God in the Garden of Eden, you had two individuals, Adam and Eve, and from Adam and Eve came all mankind, but Adam and Eve made a bad choice and they chose to sin, and that was the black color represents sin, and they chose to disobey God. But God didn't leave them in their sin. He provided Jesus, who would die on the cross, and his sacrifice would provide the forgiveness of sins. And so the red represents the blood of Christ. But it represents the fact that he did that so that we can be pure and holy, just as he is holy and pure. And so it makes a right relationship with God. So white represents that. And that one day we would have the hope of living in heaven with God. And one of the things that is talked about in heaven are the golden streets. And so once we become a Christian, then we are supposed to continue to grow. And so green represents the growth that we can have as Christians. So that's just an example of using colors in order to give a message of something. And so you could take that story, it's called the Wordless Book, and you could turn it into a poem. That would be an idea that you could choose to do. Here's another one, you may have seen it. It's called the Jelly Bean Poem. Notice that this poem actually does have a rhyming pattern, and so they choose to use a rhyming pattern for this one. It starts with blue. One glad day Jesus came our way, born in manger on Christmas Day. Purple. He grew in favor with God and man. He came to earth to fulfill a plan. White. The sinless Son of God was he, sent to the cross to set us free. Red. There his precious blood he gave. For anyone willing, he is ready to save. Rainbow. As he promised from the grave he did arrive, or revive. Yes, praise the Lord, he is alive. Black or brown, depending on the jelly bean path that you have. Free from your sin, if Jesus you receive. Just trust him now. Yes, just believe. Green. You can grow in him each day. Read the Bible and always pray. Yellow. He's coming again, as we are told. He'll take us to heaven to walk streets of gold. And so you see there, just the pattern they used. Did you catch what form it was? Hopefully you said that it was a couplet, because there are two lines that rhyme, and they just kept going in those two lines. And so here's kind of that example. I don't know that you'll be able to see it now. It's pretty glary. And so this type of poetry can use your favorite rhyming style. It could also use a free verse poem, and I know we may not have talked about that yet, but it just gives the idea of using vibrant, vivid pictures to create in your head. Here's another example of one that uses colors, and they do two colors per couplet in there. And so orange is when the sun is setting. White is new basketball netting. Gray seems to be a bore. Blue kites make you want to soar. Red is a fresh as is red is as fresh as a rose. Yellow sun will burn your nose. Green are the leaves in the spring. Gold makes a lovely wedding ring. Pink is a baby brother's cheeks. Purple flowers will bloom in a few weeks. What are colors to you? That was written by Ryan Crosby. So those are just some examples of an idea that you could do with color poetry. Think about it. You could use colors of Legos. You could use colors of leaves. Maybe think about the fall. You could use colors of the sky. You could use maybe colors in spring as you think about some of the different things. You could use various colors of flowers or rocks or birds or animals. So be inspired by the colors of our world and create an interesting poem that would create a vivid picture in your mind of what you're trying to do. Could be emotions. Maybe, how the color blue makes you feel, or how the color red makes you feel. It could be, think about holidays, maybe a Christmas poem. Think about the red and green and silver or gold. It could be a birthday. Think about the different balloons that are there. And so attach some sort of meaning to each of those colors. Maybe it's just your breakfast plate. The color of waffles that are there because it's your favorite thing, reminds you of your mother's love, or whatever it might be that you enjoy, and find the colors and then attach some meaning or a picture to it. Hope that you enjoy writing, and don't forget, when you write it, share it. Enjoy today.